In the budget speech that Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana didn't present, he wanted to spend 2.6 trillion rand. But he was spending money he didn't necessarily have. The biggest chunk of the budget was spent on education. Next was social grants. Godongwana planned to spend almost 120 billion rand on the old age grants and about 94 billion rand on the child support grants. Health was going to get 300 billion rand. What was not considered was America stopping HIV/AIDS funding to the tune of 7.4 billion rand. The police were due to get 133 billion rand, and the Defence Force, which was humbled in the DRC, 61 billion rand.
Big expense items after Minister of Finance, interest on state debt is one of the biggest one, increasing at the fastest rate. And if the Minister of Finance keeps on spending more money in interest, he will have less money available and spend on other things, like on health services or education or new roads or blue light brigades or whatever the case might be.
Social grant is a catch-22. Canada, much of what is now Western Europe, they've gone through this phase. There is recorded evidence that social grants, the more systemic they become, the more they distort in wild and wonderful ways. They distort incentives for self-reliance, for self-development, and they create dependency on the state. And that is a kind of process, as heartless as it sounds. It finally self-destroys.
The government has to look at its overall expenditure to try and redirect some of that towards funding the gap that has been left by the departure of PEPFAR. In the broader scheme of things, it's not a huge amount that we're talking about. When I spoke about the SETAs, the amounts involved could be a lot bigger than that. And obviously, in relation to the social relief or distress grant of 35 billion extra, the 7 billion that's been lost on the AIDS aid is actually very small.
Godongwana also budgeted an additional 7.3 billion rand to pay government workers. They got a 5.5% salary hike, an increase that is above the inflation rate. Everyone wants money, but there's simply not enough. Godongwana has his work cut out deciding who gets what. It's a tough ask and a difficult balancing act. Heidi Jakos in Johannesburg.